Today's discussion is about the first chapter of classical mechanics, which is the Newton's laws of motion, work energy, and momentum. At first, we are interested to discuss about Newton's laws. Newton gave three laws which are fundamental in mechanics. The first law states that every particle persists in a state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line, that is with constant velocity, unless acted upon by a force. If a particle be in motion with uniform velocity, then in the absence of any external force it will continue in its state of uniform motion. But if a particle be at rest on a plane, then the particle will remain at rest in the absence of the external force. From this law we get the concept about the force and the concept about the mass. Mass of a body may be defined as the matter possessed by the body, and the force is the external force is a quantity which is applied when applied on a body, it will the state of rest or of uniform motion will be changed. Okay, so the first law states this, and the second law states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied, that is F proportional to some rate of change of momentum. Okay, so we can write at a higher class, we can write that F is equal some dp dt with the help of calculus. AP is equal to dp dt, and the Newton's second law states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied, and it takes place in the direction in which the force acts on it. Now the third law is very easy, that is, if a particle 1 be acted by a particle 2 with a force F21, then F21 will be equal and opposite F12, that is the particle 2 which is acted upon by particle 1. That is, for every action there will be an equal and opposite reaction. This is the Newton's third law. So from the first law we get the definition of mass and the force. Again I repeat that force is the push or pull on an object, and the mass is the matter possessed by the body. So these are the three laws which were given by Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, who is the boss of classical mechanics. Now we know that the unit of force is Newton in SI and dyne in CGS, and the unit of mass is kilogram in SI and gram in CGS. Now we are interested to discuss about the work. What is work? If a particle be displaced from its position by a force, on the application of a force with ds amount, displacement is with ds amount, then it is a small displacement, so the displacement is denoted by ds since it is very small. So the elementary work dw will be f dot ds, since it is a scalar quantity. Work is a scalar quantity, so here the dot product is used. Now this is the work, which is equal to the product of force and displacement. The force on being applied on the particle, the displacement ds occurs. Okay, now what is power? The rate of doing work is known as power. That is, if P be the power, then P will be equal to the rate of doing work, that is dW dt. P will be equal to the dW dt, and dW is equal F dot ds. Therefore from this we get d dt of F dot ds. Okay, now F is a constant. F is a constant quantity, so df dt will be 0, that is only F dot ds dt is possible. Now ds dt, we know that ds dt is equal to the velocity. This is equal to the velocity v, which is also a vector quantity, so P becomes F dot of v. This is the instantaneous power. Now it should know that Newton's laws are applicable only to inertial frames. Inertial frames. Now what is inertial frames? Inertial frames are those frames which are acting with a constant velocity with respect to a fixed frame. If we consider a reference frame which is fixed, that is x, y, z. Sorry, the y should be here. Y should be here. Y. And then another reference frame O dash, with the origin O dash, here y dash, here x dash, and here z dash. If the frame is moving with a uniform velocity with respect to the fixed frame S, this frame is S dash, then this reference frame will be inertial with respect to this. But if the frame be accelerated, that is its velocity is not constant and acceleration is present, then this frame will be called a non-inertial frame of reference. Non-inertial frame of reference. Newton's laws are applicable only to inertial frame of reference and is not applicable to non-inertial frame of reference. In this case, we will see later that fictitious force is present. Now, what is conservative force field? What is conservative force field and non-conservative force field? If the curl value, we all know about the vector algebra of curl value of force be 0, then it is said to be conservative in nature. That is, from Stokes' law, we know that line integration of curl of f volume integration of curl of f is equal 0. This is dv. Okay, if the volume integration, from the above we know that curl value of f is 0, so the volume integration of curl of f will be 0. According to Stokes' law, this is equal to the line integration of f dot dr. So this will also be 0, since this is 0. So the line integration of f dot dr will also be 0 for a conservative force field. This is the another property of conservative force field. Now, for conservative force field, force can be any vector can be represented by negative of some gradient of some scalar function. Gradient of some scalar function, say phi. Here grad del x of I cap plus del y of j cap plus del z of k cap This is the grad. So f can be represented by the negative gradient of phi. Again, from the previous section, we know that dw is equal f dot dr. For this case, dr is a small displacement, so w will be some integrated of f dot dr, that is line integration of f dot dr. Now if the particle be displaced from p1 position to p2 position, then this should be v of some p1 minus of p2. Why? Since f can be since f can be represented by the negative gradient of v, where v is the scalar function. So from this we get p1 to p2 minus of some gradient of v, gradient of, not divergence, gradient of v dot dr. Now from vector identity we will know that this is minus of some dv from p1 to p2. From this we get that vp1 minus vp2, which is the w, that is where v is the potential. Now we will get the kinetic energy. If a particle of constant mass m moves in space under a force field of F, then assuming at times t1 and t2 the velocity be v1 and v2 respectively, then the kinetic energy will be t1 to t2 f dot dr is equal half m v2 square minus half m v1 square is equal t2 minus of t1. How can I achieve this goal? We know that work done is equal t1 to t2 f dot dr dt into dt, f dot dr. So from this f dot dr dt we introduce dt. Okay, now f dot dr dt, it is v, so t1 to t2 f dot of v dt. Now f is equal t1 to t2 m dv dt, so m dv dt dot v dt. Now we introduced half m t1 to t2 that is d of v square, v dot v square. From this half m at t1 the velocity was v1 and at t2 the velocity was v2, so t1 to t2 which implies m v2 square minus of half of m v1 square, that is t2 minus of t1. And from the previous page we get that w is equal vp1 minus vp2, that is v1 minus v2. So from these two expression we get v1 minus v2 is equal t2 minus of t1. So v1 plus of t1 is equal t2 plus of v2. So the total energy of the system remains constant. In a conservative force field, the total energy of a system remains constant. So this is the conclusion. Now we are interested to discuss about impulse. Impulse is nothing but the rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum is known as the impulse. That is I is equal change in momentum, not rate of change of momentum, change in momentum. Rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force according to Newton's second law. Impulse is the change in momentum am v2 minus of am v1, that is p2 if we consider the linear momentum of the second particle with velocity v1 be p2, then with mv1 which is also equal to the p1. So this is p1. This is the impulse. So what is impulse? Impulse is the change in momentum, or in another way we can say that the impulse is the time integral of force. What is the line integration of force? And it is time integral of force, f dt, t1 to t2. This is the impulse.